Good day to you, internet service providers. Come on, have a seat. Well, what's with the suit, you ask? Well, don't mind me. I'm just trying to be fancy. I'm trying to gussy it up because that's how, well, you guys only take people in suits seriously. So I'm here in a suit. Okay, don't judge me too much. Let's talk a little bit. I see you guys have been making strides against net neutrality. And I've got to say, you finally are getting there. You're finally catching that bus that you guys have always wanted to get to. That you guys have been vying over the past decade to have a hand on more about how, having more control over how you guys can stream content to the internet and provide the internet to people and users. And to that, I've got to say, congratulations. You're making progress on the goal that you think that you want. But I'm not here to tell the internet why net neutrality is a good thing. The internet's already heard all the stories, and you've already heard from people on the internet, getting angry at you because you are going to try to milk a profit as much as possible out of this wonderful, wonderful thing that we have created, and that you guys have been gratefully, and sometimes we don't appreciate the job that you guys do enough of making sure that our wires are in place to us to have us to consume this content. And I can see and I do appreciate that, because I'm personally one that's never had to stop what I'm doing and call your office and freaking have to deal with that kind of thing. I've always had a good connection, and whether it was Time Warner or whether it was Verizon, I've been lucky in that my internet has never really lost connection, and you guys deserve all the due credit for that. In my personal opinion, I'm sure you guys don't get a lot of praise all that often. But in this case, where you guys are trying to erode net neutrality, I have to say it's not in the best interest. It's not in the best interest of your customers, obviously, and the customers are always saying this thing. But here's the thing, it's not just the customers, it's you. It's not in your best interest to erode net neutrality in the United States. And today I'm going to tell you why. And it's simple. I know most of you ISP internet service providers also provide the service of what's called cable. You're familiar with cable, right? We're all familiar with cable. Do you know that cable's having a problem lately? Cable's been having this issue where they've been having blackouts, particularly of certain channels. And there's a reason for that. It's because behind the scenes, the money you pay to the cable companies goes to not only their employees and their infrastructure people, but it also goes out to the content providers. That's right, the people providing you the content, and throwing ads at you, by the way, and also making more money that way, the guys throwing, things at you are getting paid by the cable companies licensing fees in order to bring that content live to you. So you guys in the cable industry know this. You guys in the cable industry know that you have to pay CBS money in order to do their channels, and they'll always do it in a batch. It's like, this is our batch of channels. Here's our batch of channels. You pay us a fee, or we're not going to allow you to show that content on your cable. You know what I'm saying? So that's how cable works. Now, it's amazing to me when I hear about the fantasies you guys have about the internet. It's amazing to me that you think that somehow, when it comes to internet, that it's going to work the opposite way. That you, as Verizon, for instance, or for Comcast, that you could go to Netflix and say, hey, we're going to start throttling you, or, making it, or do you want us to stream your guys faster, your services and your platform faster? You got to pay us a little green so that we can make the wires work faster for you guys. You can pay for a fast lane and make your streaming, your content come to our customers at a much quicker speed. Isn't that a great opportunity for you? You got this backwards, internet service providers. That's not how it works. You know this. I know this. Your consumers don't know this. What makes you think that Netflix has any incentive, or Google has any incentive, to give you additional money to provide their content at a reasonable pace for your customers? They don't care. If you throttle their services, you look bad to the customer who's relying on your services. They have no skins attached to it. And you can go to your customers and go, well, they're not paying me enough money. You know how well that goes? Every time there's a blackout of channels that cables are supposed to be providing to their customers, you know who the customers look at? You in the cable industry should know. It's you. They look at you. They go, why is my channels blocked off on your platform? You're supposed to be providing me these channels. I pay you for these channels. And you go, well, we're trying to negotiate with these guys over here, and they're not playing ball, so why don't you go call CBS? And the customer goes, why am I paying you to do your job for you? That's their question. Why am I paying you to call CBS to get their channels? If I want to call the executive of all these multimedia corporations to have them broadcast their channels to my television, and I was going to do that on an individual basis, I would do it myself and not pay anyone to do it. What do you think that argument's still not going to stand with the internet? That you're going to go, well, Google's not paying us more money, so we're blacklisting YouTube until we can contract negotiation, until we lay a licensing agreement. The customer's not going to give a hoot. They're not going to give a care if you not getting money from Google is why you're throttling their service that they pay for. They paid for the service. They don't want no excuses, right? It's not going to fly. It's not going to work. So if that was your pie in the sky fantasy that you're going to make, the internet like better and more efficient and make it run like cable, cable's not really in your best interest right now either, right? You guys in these multi-service providing industries are tying yourself to the old way of doing things. Every time I get for Spectrum, or was Time Warner Cable, I get stuff from you guys all the time that go, hey, you could pay $30 a month for internet. And I'm like, let me guess. When I open this envelope, it's going to say, well, if you package it with cable and a landline, which both also cost $30 a month, so total of about $90, which, by the way, you pay for really, really high quality internet right now alone, and you're fine with. You can have a lesser internet and plus two other things that are completely useless to you, because, hey, guess what the internet can do? With the internet, I could talk to people and chat in real time, like a phone, like a landline. Hey, I can watch video content on video providing you services like YouTube, like this very YouTube. Netflix, if I pay for it, which I don't, because I like the content on YouTube enough, or I like the things, and I play video games, and I have other things that I do that distract my entertainment value from television. So I don't need television. I have other forms of entertainment that keep me busy enough where I don't care about your House of Cards, or actually that's Netflix, isn't it? I don't care about your Walking Dead. Oh wait, that's Netflix, isn't it? I don't know, like whatever you guys are running on your television show, CSI something or other. Yeah, you guys did very well with that, by the way. Thank you very much, CBS. It's literally the only way I can think about describing how just archaic it just seems to get these letters in the mail that say, hey, you can get internet and television and phone all for equal price. It's like I'm paying $30 for my phone and for the internet? The frick, the internet's far more valuable to me than the phone. You guys are hurting yourselves, man. I mean, literally, it's like, I guess, I was going to describe what it's like. What it's like is going to a car dealership in the 1950s, okay? If I went to a car dealership in the 1950s and I said, dude, how much for that brand new car? It's like, well, it's $4,000. It's like, or, well, I don't know how, it's $1,000. I'm like, $1,000, that's a freaking good deal for a car. Oh yeah, but you got to buy this horse with it. It's also $1,000. A horse? A horse. I got to buy a horse with the car? Yeah, you got to buy a horse with the car, man. Why do I need a horse? The car is what replaces the horse. You're asking me, this is a good deal, man. You get a car for $1,000. You can tell all your friends that you got a car for $1,000. I didn't get the car for $1,000. I got the car for $2,000 because I'm buying a freaking horse with it. And then I gotta freaking get a barn. And then I gotta find grain. Are you insane? No. I mean, I'm just trying to keep things traditional, man. I love horse and buggies. Why does nobody like horse and buggies anymore? Why? I just want to sell me my horse and buggies, man. I just had a whole... It's like, dude, I know, you had a whole stock of horse and buggies out back because those are the big selling things. And now, you know, that cars are a big thing. You don't know how to get rid of those old horse and buggies anymore. Instead of, like, taking down the wires and, you know, not paying rent for those frickin' telephone lines that you put up, you instead go, oh, well, we're not going to deal with the fact that everyone has a landline or a cell phone now. It's like, oh, what's this thing? Oh, this thing, it's a cell phone. It could also do internet as well. God damn internet! Why is nobody using old-fashioned telephone anymore? Jeez Louise. But anyways, what were we talking about? Yes, the modern era, the modern problems right now. You believe in the magic of your heart that if you get rid of net neutrality, that you can somehow make internet as profitable as having people buy a useless landline or buy a useless cable box. You think that somehow magically you can make the internet just as profitable as those things if you could just have the power over the internet and try to control what goes on the streaming things and have it. It's not going to happen. Because for one, you're already on the defensive. You already have your Comcast guys going, we won't throttle, we won't do this, we will be transparent. You literally are already on the defensive. Like, we're not going to change anything with the thing that we fought so hard for to change all this time. We're not going to do it. No one believes you, first off, because you don't fight hard for something and then do nothing with it. Number two, you can't do anything with it currently. You'll try to phase it in. You'll try to massage it in some way. But people are going to see right through it, just as they see through it, and you're not going to be very good at massaging it through. You know why? Because I still receive letters that say, hey, $30 a month for internet. As long as you pay $30 a month for cable and $30 a month for a landline. If you're going to come at us internet people with that same malarkey BS, we're going to call you out on it. And not only are we going to call you out on it, we're going to post these things all over the internet and point and laugh and go, ha ha ha, look at these idiots. You think they could pass this crap on average people? Maybe you could fool like one or two people, maybe, but it's not going to make you as profitable unless you had something really creative that people really wanted. You know? Like, maybe like Google or Amazon or Netflix. Maybe you could provide a service that people actually want. Nah, it's just easier to sell landlines. What am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Who are you kidding? You know, you just go to sell those telephone lines. Come on. Come on. You know, you guys, you're ruining horror movies. Man, what is the killer supposed to cut the wire on anything now? You got cell phones now. It can reach anyone at any time. How is the stalker supposed to freaking haunt the house? I don't know, man. Come up with something creative. Oh, the cell phone doesn't work. Magic. Hey, it works. Anyways, what are we talking about again? Right. Net neutrality. Here's the thing. Back when I first heard about net neutrality and that you guys were trying to take it out, it might have been in your best interest to destroy net neutrality at that point. I mean, these small tech fishes were sort of like small fish in a pond. They were piranhas. They were hungry, but they were pretty small. Now, the Googles were kind of tiny at the time. They were just a small search engine amongst many search engines like Lycos and Hotbot and Yahoo, you know, those old companies. Lycos. What else was there? There was Hotbot, there was Lycos, there was Jeeves. There was so many search engines you could throw a stick at them, and Google was just another one of those groups. But 10 years have passed since you guys have started doing this. That little barracuda, that little piranha that you once was, is now a freaking giant shark. And net neutrality, by the way, is the barrier that was between the ISP and those providing content on the internet. Back then, when you guys as barracudas, let's call you ISP providers, internet service providers, barracudas, back when you guys were swimming in your fish tank and you saw that delicious piranha across the thing, you're like, dude, we want to bring that down. It's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Then we can chomp on that dude and ask him for money in order to provide, in order to stream their content over the thing. We can try and hound people providing content on the internet to try and get money from them in order to do this. Cool. Good idea. Great. Problem is 10 years have passed by. You still see Google as that little, you probably, I hope don't, see that Google as a little piranha and see him as a great white shark. You guys are still barracudas. You bring down that wall now, that shark is going to come down on your butt. And yes, they have that whole don't be evil mantra, but they're going to be evil if you guys allow them to be evil, you're basically inviting them to be evil when you take out net neutrality. It's like, what is to prevent Google or Amazon or anything like that to start putting pressure on you to license their websites for your internet services? Similarly to how the cable companies ask you to license for their programming for your customers. They're the ones that have control of the thing that people want. You're just the busboy who gets the frickin' data from one end to the other. And as I said earlier, you don't get a lot of appreciation for that more than you should. But here's the thing, if the busboy starts getting uppity at the manager, the cook's gonna be like, you're fired, I'll bring the food out myself. What I'm saying to you here is that haven't you ever wondered why Google and all these other companies have kind of stopped pushing so hard to defend net neutrality as they used to? Back in 2012, they were freaking changing their home pages. They were putting big black bars saying, stop internet censorship and, keep the internet free and all this stuff. You ever notice that they're not doing that so hard anymore? Have you ever noticed that? You ever wonder, stop and think and go, why are they doing that? But you didn't. Because you're like, oh, they're just letting their guard down. Now's our opportunity. No, now's their opportunity. You see, Google has been putting up projects across this country of ours. You've probably read about it in the back of your head, and it's been, they're not going to take it seriously because we have competitors out here, and it's a fierce thing, and it really is expensive to keep these wires up. They're not going to really push too hard on it. But there was a project called Google Fiber, and they were putting it in, metropolitan areas in red states, such as, I believe, Kansas City. I think it was Kansas, and there was also Austin, Texas, that they were doing this in. They're putting in infrastructure. They're putting in infrastructure to provide internet services to people. Guess what Google and Amazon and Facebook have a vested interest in? Net neutrality. So if you guys start providing a non-net neutral solution to the internet, to your customers who want a net neutral solution, because they don't see any problems with the internet as it is right now, and you guys start trying to put in your money, get rich quick scheme, sales tricks, hubbub-zoo. Here's the thing. The internet is a place where you can learn about all these neat little sales tricks that you guys do, and we can train people about to watch for that kind of crap and how to read it and how to defend themselves in their brains against it. Instead, we're going to have people who actually study cognitive science and things like that at Google out creatively destroying you on how to sell internet to people. Because all they have to do is say, internet like the old days. You remember the old days of the internet when you could just go anywhere you wanted without having an ISP looking over your back? Come to Google Fiber, because we'll have that internet for you at a low cost of $50 a month. That's right, straight up $50 a month. Not $30 a month for this service and $20 over here, and maybe if you get a landline, we'll let you have it for like $30. None of those tricks, none of those quandaries. We're just going to give you straight out internet, just like them good old days. Your move. Because they want you to destroy net neutrality at this point. Because it'll accelerate your uncreativeness and your just inability to let go of trying to create profits off of this thing, off the infrastructure that you have that is no longer of use to anybody. Landlines. Your sole desire is to try and make profits off of the institutions and things that you don't have much need for anymore. And they're banking on you being in creative shills in order for them to come in and sweep in and make things simpler for their customers and to provide better service for their customers and to basically take over your business. But hey, there's good news on this. If Google becomes powerful enough because you guys destroy net neutrality and they become a powerful internet company, maybe you will be able to have that AT&T Time Warner merger that you always wanted and wished you had. Because then, hey, look, Google's a competitor now and they're big enough to fight us off. Maybe we can merge now. And the government should go, oh, yeah, you can merge now. But good luck in 10 years when you're dead, because you're not going to change. The way you do business isn't going to change. And the way that customers feel about you isn't going to change. Because the customers certainly don't have your back. If the customers don't have your back, then what are you going to do? That's why in the service industry we go, the customer is always right. Not always right. Okay, yes, there are exceptions. There's some people who are just absolutely batshit bonkers in this world. Sure. And those people, you'll know them when you see them. Or when someone tries to shoplift from your thing. Sure. Someone tries to steal cable and do that thing. They're wrong. They're not your customers. They're stealing. Because they're not your customers. Because they're stealing, right? So, but the people who pay you money and do it for the services that you provide are your customers, and they are always right. So you try to do the best you can to work within them reasonably. And if they're not always right, and if they are trying to swindle you, that's why you get into contracts. But obviously, contracts are not seen as very nice on the individual market. Verizon. Just saying. So here's the deal at the end of the day. You guys are going to back off net neutrality. Or you don't. To me and to the users of the internet, it doesn't make much difference. It'll suck for a few years when you guys still have your monopoly over certain regions of the world and start trying to mess with, making internet more expensive for everybody in order to try and piecemeal the internet off and break it apart. But at the end of the day, all you're going to do is all we got to do is tread water as customers. We can either enjoy the internet as we fully want it and pay you more money, or we could just cut costs and just cut you out entirely, and then and instead throw money at Google or somebody else to get infrastructure in faster, so that we don't have to deal with your asses anymore. Because some of us might do that. We don't even want to be. We're not going to pay them for being customers of things. We're just going to buy their other services and technology. Heck, we could just frickin' use the internet on our frickin' smartphones and pay the data charges on it. And oh yeah, by the way, Google's doing that too, and this is a Google Fi phone. So if I were to pay like $80 a month to just use this on the internet and then cut everything else out, I'd be more than happy to if you guys want to destroy net neutrality. Go ahead, do it. You'll just be accelerating your own demise as the great white shark snacks upon the barracudas. But good job catching that bus, by the way. I'm going to get the hop out of here. See you later.